All right, here we go.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. All right, let's kick it off. Episode 1.
Episode 1. So, hey, last week or 2 weeks ago was Survivor
last week?
finale.
I think it was just last week, wasn't it? Or
Yeah.
was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, we're going to talk about it. So, spoiler alert if you're so
Oh, I know.
lazy you haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, I haven't even thought of that for the people that have
Well,
never seen
now's
it.
your chance. You can do this and then come back on and see what professionals think about that final episode.
Yeah.
Who did you, going into the finale, who did you want to win?
You know, like the main people that I really liked had been voted off already, right? I think everybody loves Suri. So,
Yes.
and, I was kind of an Aussie fan too and all those guys. So let's see. Going into it, I think, a little bit of, was it what, Jonathan? Is that George?
Jonathan,
Yeah, Jonathan.
Joe, Russo,
Joe.
and Aubrey.
Yeah. Yeah, I was probably a Joe. Anybody but Rizzo. I was in anybody but Rizzo.
Anybody but Rizzo.
I think that's exactly what I said.
And I was
actually.
Rizzo.
And you were Rizzo, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why you
Can
were
I
Rizzo.
defend it?
Sure, go ahead. I don't think it's
Yeah,
defendable. But
It is defendable. I mean,
Yeah.
here's a guy that he realized that he was playing for his Albanian people. He was representing them, sort of like that.
Yeah.
The new kid. It would really make a big difference in his life. He doesn't have any money, and he was young, and I liked it. I liked that. What didn't you not like about him?
Well, he just stabbed everybody in the back completely. Like he abandoned Ozzy, he abandoned Suri. Like the people that carried him, and I think he could have made a lot much further if he hadn't abandoned those.
Your old era. That's not the new era.
Well-
The new era is having the resume that you did take out these people.
Yeah, but obviously it didn't help him. And
It got him to the final four.
I don't even think if he was in the final 3, I don't think he would have won.
He didn't ask that question, did he?
No. Well, he
No, Jeff Probst. He didn't ask the question.
the finale got messed up because
Well, that's true. But if he didn't, if they would have asked a question, would you have voted for Rizzo if he was in the final 3?
yeah, they never asked that question.
No, but I bet many of them would have said yes.
Well, I don't know. I think what I think would have been a great ending to that too is when they bring them out. First of all, I love the live ending. I like
Yeah, okay.
I hate when they do it back at the other location for the after the show, the
Right.
reunion. I love it that it's live and they do the results. But I think what would be really cool is if when they show up, they have them vote again. They're like, okay, now that you've seen all the episodes, right?
Okay.
I want the jury. You're going to vote right now before you see the results.
Oh.
Go ahead and vote now based off of what you saw.
Yeah, because you didn't see.
That's right.
But that's influential because Probst is pushing every episode to a certain ending.
Well, yeah, no, I
He's not
understand.
seeing all of it. So, smart idea, bad idea for Aubrey to automatically take Joe with her and let the other two do fire.
Well, I think she knew. Yeah, Joe is a great guy. Unfortunately, as you saw in the finale, even he did not present himself very well. He kind of, he wasn't. It just doesn't fit him completely. In a lot of ways, it fits him very well to get to the final. I mean, he got to the finals twice now.
Yeah.
And he's a very, he's a hardworking, dedicated. He builds relationships well,
Yeah.
but he doesn't have that final dagger in the back kind of.
He doesn't have a resume. Nobody's going to vote for him, so it's smart to take him with you as a shield. And then Jonathan and Rizzo made fire.
And Rizzo didn't have a chance against.
And he knew that. How could you,
against Jonathan,
knowing all of these seasons, how could you not spend
all your
months making fire before you go?
That's right. You're like if I got on Survivor, I would be spending all my time just making fire.
And you'd be doing it while standing on a small piece of wood.
Yeah, in a rainstorm.
In a rainstorm.
Yeah, I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna get this. If I can make fire, in a tsunami with rain pouring down, then I can make it anywhere.
Well, I hope Aubrey spends her $2 million well.
Yeah, wow, that was a big one. Yeah.
Yeah, $2 million.
So I mean, she did really well though. I mean, she did play very well. So
you feel like episode 51 is going to be a letdown?
I don't know. I mean,
He's calling it another new era.
Yeah, they called it a new era. They had the little hatch thing going on or something breaking up. But I will say this: 50 for me was probably my best season. I loved season. I loved it.
Yeah, I liked it too.
It was
All right,
very
some
good.
people would say, Jeremy, that you're a survivor.
Yeah.
Why would people say that?
Yeah, I mean, I have honestly in my life, it's interesting. I mean, I can remember specifically in high school. I can remember when I was in the Army and other places in my life when people have talked to me, they've actually kind of given me that label before.
Oh,
yeah. And I guess I don't know if it's out there somewhere where you talk about people as being a survivor.
Yeah.
And so I have been labeled by different people. I never really thought, like early on, I still don't really think about it, but what they're saying is that in any situation that I've been placed in, somehow I learn how to navigate through it.
Yeah.
And come out okay through it. You know what I mean? On a top end, or
well,
I wouldn't say like as a top end, but like just navigate through it, that it's been positive and okay, and it's worked out for me.
And people through the episodes are going to find out that to be true. So let's kick this thing off. Tell me why you're calling this podcast, or why are we calling this podcast A Most Unpredictable Life?
Yeah, I've been torn on that. So like from the get-go, I was trying to figure out what to call it. And A Most Unpredictable Life is a mouthful.
Yeah, well,
right? It like I'm sure there's somebody that's like a very smart person who analyzes titles, and they say, that's way too many syllables. It's like, for example, I say anybody with a name more than 2 syllables ends up with a nickname.
Okay.
Right? My name's Jeremy, which is actually 3 syllables.
Yes.
Very few people call me Jeremy. You know what I mean?
I call you Jeremy.
Do you?
What do I call you?
You kind of like slide it into 2 syllables.
Oh, Jeremy.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Like you do pecan pie. No,
it is pecan pie.
Pecan pie. All right. But it is only, but like you shorten it up a little bit. But I will say that. So again, it's just something I noticed over the years. Maybe I should write it in as a.
What does your wife call you?
She calls me crazy.
All right. But some people call you Jerome, 2 syllables.
Yeah, exactly. My family, my brothers, they all call me Jerome.
Right.
I've been Jerome for years and years and years by them. But outside of that, people always come up with a nickname. Lou. Lou, rather than call me by my first name, Jeremy.
We should probably introduce ourselves.
Oh yeah. So I'm Jeremy.
Lewis.
Yeah.
And I'm Terry Lewis.
Yeah.
And we're no relation, we think.
Well, yeah, I guess. So we don't know. We haven't looked it up yet, but some way maybe.
Yeah.
The Lewis name goes way back into Scotland and England and Wales and all that. Yeah.
Yes.
So when I pull it up, I get a lot of Northern England, Scottish, Wales.
Yeah.
In my lineage, in my DNA, at least that's how it pops up.
My cousin did the ancestry, and she could only find a couple generations back because our Lewises were convicts in Wales, and they were shipped over to do the coal mines in Southern Ohio.
That's what we were always told when I was growing up. We were the Lewises that came over were convicts, that were prisoners, and that's why
maybe we are related.
Maybe, yeah,
that explains a lot. All right,
or maybe we're still convicts. Well, the Lewises were, that's all right. We're a little rambunctious.
We're rambunctious.
Is your Lewis's rambunctious?
Yes.
Yeah. Ornery, rambunctious.
Ornery. Sometimes we exaggerate. My son-in-law says that I Lewis stories. Yes.
You're like next level Lewis stories, I think. I don't know.
All right, now you skip back.
That's why I got to do this podcast, because I got to get the real story down, so it's factual in a way, versus as best as we can make it, versus like it gets Lewis, and then people say no, we haven't ever recorded. That didn't happen like that.
A Most Unpredictable Life. Where did you get that?
Yeah, we see how we got derailed. Like I took us on a totally.
That's all right.
So A Most Unpredictable Life comes from my senior year. So it is graduation season right now.
Yes, it is.
And so as a senior, everybody's getting their, most something, right? So their senior superlatives,
Superlatives,
that's which I never even knew the word superlative. I still never really looked it up. I guess
I don't know if it's used for anything else. Probably is.
Yeah, maybe.
That in The Office. The Office gives awards, superlative awards.
The superlative award, yeah. So anyways, the senior superlative, and I do say anyways a lot, I realize. I got to probably stop. I'll just anyways, but
stop it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I almost wanted to say anyways. But I was so you have your senior superlatives, right? And so in your senior superlatives,
what would be some examples?
We know you have most successful.
Most successful. A prediction.
Yeah. It's the most successful. So most successful was not me. I did not get not most successful. No. Most likely to succeed.
Most likely? Yeah. You didn't get that.
I definitely did not get most likely to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't get that. And then you have most athletic.
Wasn't you?
I should have been that. Come on. No, but
yeah.
But I did not get that.
Okay.
I did not get that. And then you have here. I have it pulled up here now. So senior superlatives, and this is my 1992 yearbook from Hillsdale. And as I go through it, you have prettiest eyes. You think I got, I think I should have got that.
Prettiest eyes?
Prettiest eyes.
Okay.
I did not get that.
Yeah.
Prettiest smile. Didn't get.
You got a nice smile.
Yeah, I didn't get that either. Some of the other really probably cool ones. Jane and Joe Cool. I didn't get that.
Oh.
Most talented.
You didn't get most talented?
I mean, no, I didn't get that either.
You're a great musician.
I do okay. I wouldn't say I'm a great musician.
Yeah.
I fumble through the guitar and I play on occasion, but how about, and then I did not, and then best dressed, I didn't get that. Best personality.
You didn't get best personality.
No, I did not.
Who did?
A guy named Jay and a girl named Ellen. We'll do our best to avoid using full names.
All right.
But
There's a boy and a girl who both got these?
yeah, it was each one of these. Yeah. So every senior superlative, a boy and a girl got selected.
All right.
So I did, interestingly enough, get selected for 3 senior superlatives.
Tell me what they were.
And you would think if somebody said, hey, you got 3, and I just mentioned a whole lot.
Yeah.
I would have gotten one of those really like good ones.
Those are the good ones. Okay.
I would think so, right?
Which ones did you get?
If you had to pick, would you want all those?
Yeah, but then I'd give them all to me.
Yeah.
They gave me most of them.
So one of them I got was I did get biggest mouth.
Biggest mouth.
And that's just I mean
how many meatballs you could fit in?
Yeah, I think it was that. I don't think I talked a lot. My teachers, if they ever watch this, they'll verify for me that I never got yelled at for talking out of turn or without raising my hand.
Oh, okay.
All right, that may not be true.
All right.
All right, let me correct that. If I was taking a lie detector
biggest
test,
mouth. Okay.
I definitely definitely got in trouble a lot for.
All right.
That I think there's a whole group of people out there that know that phrase, that gets put on your report card. Jeremy fails to pay attention in class. Jeremy fails to raise his hand when he wishes to speak. Jeremy talks too much.
But they give you a B because they want you to pass and go on to the next.
Yeah,
grade.
maybe that's how that's probably exactly.
But that's where the section.
They're like, I don't want this guy around anymore. I will say this though, most of my teachers, when I talk to them, they do say they enjoyed having me in class. They're like, we got to have people like you in the class, otherwise it'd be boring. Maybe, I don't know, or they just wanted some of it. Probably depends on which teacher. And then I got another one, which was I did get class clown. Too, which I don't understand. I never wore a red nose or a wig or the shoes or anything like that.
Hey, but everybody wants you in the room.
I don't know if everyone wants me in the room, but I just
you're the life of the party.
I don't know if I'm the life of the party, but but I always enjoyed, like, I don't know. It just, seeing people laugh. I think it's I think some people attribute class clowns as they're seeking attention. Maybe, I don't know. I'm sure there's some psychology on this that would say that's what it is. But I would say for me, and I would think there's a lot of people out there, like a lot of comedians too, it's more of seeing other people smile. Like when you can go in and you see everybody's kind of down, and then when you see other people, you're able to make other people smile in a way. Like you see that light up. That's just great. It's just joyful, I would say. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, and a lot of times I would say being a class clown, you're deprecating yourself, right? You get attacked. People you feel pretty comfortable giving me jabs, right? Because of why?
Well, because you give it right back.
Yeah, I give it right back, or I take it well.
You take it well.
For the most part. Definitely there's people
That's right.
that I probably got upset.
You could kill me 3 different ways and nobody would know. So I'm glad that you take it well.
Yeah. And then the final one, right? So as you probably can guess, all right, if the audience would ask them what other senior superlative did I get, yeah, it would be most unpredictable. Which, I remember getting most unpredictable with my classmate. Let's see, where did it go? I not that it even matters that I'm turning to the page like you guys. And I guess I got to learn how to pan to this in the video, right?
Okay, you're going to get that fancy.
Yeah, if people will watch it, depending on if you watch it or hear it.
How did it make you feel when you got that superlative?
I remember talking, I didn't know. I was just like, okay, that's interesting. I remember the girl that I got it with, she's like, what is that anyways? And I was like, I don't know. Like the person that got class clown with me was a girl. The girl that got it with me was different from the girl that got biggest mouth, which was different from the girl that got most unpredictable. So I got all 3 of those, but the 3 girls that matched up with me, they all had there was 3 different ones for that. So one had biggest mouth.
Looking back, what do you think it means?
Well, my guess is, I mean, at the time, I'm going to assume it's this guy is, we don't know what he's going to do. Like,
Okay.
like, you know what I mean? Like one day he might show up and be serious and do well, and other days he might just show up and be a clown the whole time or something. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'd have to go back to the class of 1992, which is, well, I guess our reunion was or 25 years a couple years ago, 20, whenever it was. Yeah.
So, you think your wife would give it to you again today?
Yeah, I would think so. Would you give it to?
I will give it to you.
Yeah.
I'm never quite sure what's going to happen.
Well, and I think like when I tell stories about my life, even people are like, and that's why it became a most unpredictable life, is because like when I start telling the story of where I was and what I did, my childhood, then even in high school and things that I would do, the stories there, people, and then even in college, we have crazy college stories, and then being in the Army and going to Tesla, like none of that is what people would expect. It's very unpredictable.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, especially when you meet and you hang out with me too.
Well, that's a good transition. So tell us, what is the format that you're picturing? What can people expect in each episode?
Yeah, so each episode, so how this kind of started is one, my stories. I'm telling my stories to my friends, my kids, and all that. You know, your kids kind of get tired of it, but at the same time, there's always this confusion on what goes in front of what, or what happened when.
Okay.
And so I almost said anyways again. But so what I went and did is I created this spreadsheet. Okay. You know, I literally have it, and I'll show it to everybody eventually online. Is I created a spreadsheet from literally 1973 when I was born, and all the way up to today. You know, I just ran it all the way out. I did every year, and then every cell down or column was a month.
Okay.
So that's a lot of months on there.
Yes.
And then I literally began filling out the blank, where I was born, where I lived, where I was in school, and I linked it to like, you know, I actually put in pictures, and my entire life is in there. And I already forgot what the question was.
Well, no,
because this is what just get used to this.
Now, what's the format?
Oh,
what's
the format,
big idea? But you just said
Yeah.
part of this is your kids. Your kids will now have a.
Yep. And then those that are friends of mine, we believe, you know, in a way that, you know, sometimes it's good to hear people's stories, you know, and maybe there's people out there that will relate to this,
right?
And they're in a spot that's interesting or different or hard sometimes, and they're wondering, well, how am I going to get from here to there,
right?
And that can be scary.
That can be scary.
And for me personally, I actually never thought of. People will say I'm a very good planner. I do plan a lot, but I will say this: I don't think the plans that I set were the plans that happened.
Yeah.
I just planned to move forward.
Yeah.
You know, and I think those and it worked out. So I think why I'm doing the podcast, or the format. So let's get back to the format. Was I made this spreadsheet. It is literally 52 years of life, and it's got a lot of little details in it. It's kind of crazy. It's wild when you zoom it back and forth, and you're like, well, that's it. That's my life. That's it. You know, you talk about humbling yourself in a way of like realization of how the blink of an eye.
So tell me, the content of each episode will be.
Yeah, so you're constantly trying to get me back on
that's
topic.
all right. That's all right.
Yeah, so how it'll go is so that we decided to start in 1992.
Okay.
We flirted around with 1973 when I was born. You know, I thought about other times, but this year right now, we're going to start with 1992 is because that's like the transition from my life of when you know, you kind of graduate. That's what graduation is. It's when you're moving on from you know, you become an adult, you're now fully responsible for your life in that way. And so I think that's a great spot to start.
Yeah.
And then probably the plan is each episode will be, we'll go, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go forward one.
Okay.
And then we're going to go backwards one. Or we'll probably go backwards one first, and then we'll go forward one.
Interesting.
So that way we're constantly getting different perspectives. That way I'm not just talking all about my Army service like for weeks and weeks.
All right.
And we're not just talking about my childhood for weeks and weeks.
Yeah.
I think it'll be good. And then, you know, later on down the road, somebody will create a different, you know, because we're going to be that famous. But somebody will create a machete, right?
Yeah.
They call that the machete version or whatever, or the
Alright.
timeline version of how you could go through and listen to all the episodes in timeline order
Oh.
versus, Star Wars order, where we're going to start with, like, we're starting with episode 18 right now.
Oh, gee.
And then we're going to jump to episode 5 or
Episode
something.
5.
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then we'll jump all the way to 25, right? And we're going to jump around.
Do you think it would be helpful if, before we jump right to 1992, that you give us, you did a little bit already, but a big picture, like your life, you this, and then this, just as a big nutshell, and then we'll zoom into 1992.
To 1992. Yeah, so so why would you be interested in this story, right? Other than 1992. I mean, who's Jeremy Lewis and what is, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
So, what is my life has been about, right? So, or what has happened in my life.
Right.
So a quick rundown of my childhood. So my childhood, my parents were divorced. I was really young. I don't remember them really being ever together.
Okay.
I just remember my mom and my stepdad, and then I remember my dad coming to pick us up. And there's stories in there, and we'll get into those as part of the podcast, right? So, I come from divorced parents. But when they divorced my mom, she was working in a factory with my stepdad, and then that kind of all fell apart too.
Okay.
And so my mom had to be, was a bartender, And now, I will say this and caveat it. My memory of her as a child is mostly as a bartender. She probably had different jobs.
Okay.
But I will always remember her mostly as a bartender.
And they both, mom and dad, still lived in the same town?
No, they did not. No, but very close.
You were born in what town?
I was born in Worcester, Ohio.
Worcester?
Worcester.
Worcester.
Yep. We say Worcester.
Worcester.
Just Worcester.
Worcester.
Yeah, that's everybody on there. All the Worcester folks, they know. But I was born in Worcester, Ohio.
Worcester?
Yeah, not Rooster, not Wooster. I was born in Worcester, Ohio.
Okay.
I'm very proud of that.
Yes.
I like Worcester. It's a great city. So I was born in Worcester, and then we lived in Shreve, though. And I think we might have lived somewhere before that, but I got to go off my memories of, and Shreve, Ohio was like one of my first. So we lived in Shreve. My dad, though, at that point, I think he might have lived in Lownville or Nashville. No, he lived in Nashville, Ohio. And so
we have in Nashville, Ohio?
Yeah, it's a very small.
Big music town?
Yeah, you should go there. The grand old.
Is there a Broadway? Is there?
There's well, honestly, there is for all those people out there, if you ever want to go, Nashville, Ohio, right near there's Wachtel's Christmas lights.
Wachtel's Christmas lights.
Yep,
Is
I'll
this
give a shout out.
All year long kind of thing?
No, it's not all year long, I don't think, but over Christmas it is
Yeah.
a huge. At least as when I was a child, and I think it still is pretty big.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for some place to go to watch Christmas lights or to drive through, it is an amazing.
Yeah.
So you got to go up this Christmas.
Yeah.
Go up there. Maybe we do an episode where we go up and get some Christmas lights or something. If we're
All
that,
right.
if
And how many street lights go through Nashville, Ohio?
I think there's a blinking light at
Oh,
the
a
intersection.
blinking light.
Yeah, and it's right next to. There's the Grand Ole Opry.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, you've got where Carrie Underwood lives
Yes. Get out.
there. You got all those famous people that live there.
All right, so you think you live there?
Yeah, and then I remember being in Lownville. My dad being in Lownville, and then he settled really at most of the time as a child. I remember him living in Jeromesville, Ohio. Jerome. Yeah, Jeromesville. And so that's where my grandparents lived there, and he ended up buying a house. So he lived there, but my mom, I lived with my mom in Shreve, and then, we ended up moving up to Worcester. Our house got foreclosed. It was, we got evicted. And my mom and I then, and our family, I have 5 brothers, and so we split up. 3 of my brothers, one of my youngest brother, he's my half brother. So with my dad and my stepmother, who have both passed away since then. And then you have my 3 of my other brothers, my 2 younger brothers, and then Jason. They all moved with my dad.
Okay.
As we kind of split apart when this kind of when the house foreclosure and all this stuff that happened. And we'll talk about that in detail. But anyways, we split. So Rob and I then lived with my mom. We ended up moving up to Worcester, Ohio from Shreve. So we lived in Worcester, and my mom was a bartender, and the reality is loved my mom. I loved that lady. But she drank a lot, and she was a bartender. So she had gotten a few DUIs. And so that's part of this will be part of this story. She got DUIs, license suspended. And I think the big thing in my childhood, other than a lot of other little stories, but probably the biggest thing was in 1995 and some people probably don't know this. There's people maybe that were there with me in school that all of a sudden I disappeared.
Okay.
So I was at school 1 week, and then literally the following week I was gone. And they're like, well, what happened to Jeremy, right? Well, what happened to me is my mom had, the week prior had gotten in a bad car accident. It was in the wintertime.
Okay.
I believe it was January, February. I don't know. I can look on what I assume it was, but very bad car accident. She'd been drinking, already had 3, DUIs, license suspended, no car insurance, and she thought she was going to go to jail.
Okay.
So, but she was in the hospital. She says that she was pronounced dead at the site. It was always her story that and they brought her back. And, but anyways, the way it worked was, and my assumption is that the way she explained the story with me at the time, she's like, hey, I got out early. The police don't know I'm out early of the hospital.
Okay.
We're going to sell everything we own, and we're going to move to California. So, yeah.
She's a fugitive.
Yeah, so she was coming. So we did. We went and sold everything, and
we being
my mom and me. My brother, when the accident happened, he ended up going with my dad that morning.
Okay.
So now it was just me and my mom, and then her boyfriend, who that's a whole nother story. They'd gotten back together that weekend, and I literally went up and labeled everything in my bedroom, and we sold everything. And then that Monday or Tuesday, whatever it was, again, I don't remember if it was exactly Monday or Tuesday. I know I didn't go back to school. And we were on a plane to California. So we flew to California, and, in today's world, that would probably be an Amber Alert because my dad didn't know. Nobody knew. My mom took me, and off we went to California. And so our adventures in California began, which, just so you're, little, again, snippet, living with my aunt, uncle, just like, but when I lived with them, was sleeping on the floor, sleeping in a tent in the backyard, living in a van for a short period, a lot of motels. Like I tell my kids this now, like I'm like, when we're driving down the road, I'll say, you see these motels that are, it's like the motel along the side of the road. I was like, there's people that live there, and there's kids that live there. That's their life. And I never thought myself homeless when I was there.
Yeah.
Until later, there was like a 2020 or 60 Minutes, I don't remember what it was, and it was talking about homeless people. And it was talking about all the people that live in motels.
And
I was like,
lived that.
yeah, and I was living that life. And it wasn't terribly long. So that, going from that, and then eventually moving back with my dad and living in Dromesville, and the fun there, and the stories there, and then moving in. I did move out when I was, I moved in with my aunt when I was in my junior year of high school.
Okay.
And then living with my best friend, Rich.
We're going to get into some of these
all
things.
that. And then I went off to college, got a great scholarship, fortunately, and we'll go into how that happened.
Yeah.
Actually, we'll talk about this just because we're in 1992 at this point.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that probably today. And then I went off to college and got commissioned as a lieutenant in the Army. And then we'll talk about my Army career, which was, being a platoon leader in Bosnia, a company commander during the invasion in Iraq in 2003, going back to Iraq in 2005, 2006, raiding houses and working with Iraqi Special Police Commandos, and then going to Afghanistan 3 times in 2009, 10 and 11, and 13, and then finishing out my Army career in 2017 and going to Tesla, then working for Elon Musk. And having phone calls, being on calls. I shouldn't say I don't want anybody to think that I had a personal phone call with him. I never did. But being on calls, in meetings with Elon.
You were E-minus.
Yeah, well, it depends. Sometimes there was a point where it was just E-1, me.
Yes.
That didn't last very long, but it was usually anywhere between 2 and 0 to 1 and 2, I would say. So my boss either worked directly for Elon or my boss's boss.
I look forward to those episodes
for Elon.
Yeah,
that'll be But those were that.
And then how many years there?
Almost 7 years, like 6.5 years. Then I made the decision to retire.
Yeah.
Fortunately, blessed really through life to have the military retirement, and then at my time at Tesla, and made the decision that have been through quite a bit in my life.
Yeah.
And it's time to stay home and be with my family and retire. So at 49 years old had the opportunity to do it. And so now it's been 3 years.
3 years.
And this is almost the 3-year. July will be exactly 3 years that been retired.
You mentioned your family. Tell our audience, introduce your family.
Yeah, so I have my wife, Lori, and we met, and we'll go into that, but we've been married since 2002.
Yeah.
Met in July of 2001.
Okay.
Engaged in December of 2001 and married in March of 2002. So married the woman 9 months after I met her.
Yes.
But here we are with 4 kids, and my oldest is Lauren, who just graduated, and she is
college.
with her, she got an associate's degree and works now at Children's Hospital as a
Me.
radiology technologist. I
Gotta
always
be
say,
proud of
I
that.
mean, it's funny. They call themselves rad tech, but I feel like when I say rad tech, I get corrected.
Oh,
No, it's a radiology technologist. But she basically takes the photos of all of kids' bones mostly.
right.
And she just does a great job. She's always one of these people that just knows how to handle people well, like little kids and talks, and people just gravitate towards her. And I see her. I volunteer at the zoo, I guess. By the way,
You do.
But Lauren was a volunteer. She was a zoo aide, and then she was an interpreter at zoo. And I love it every time I see people that worked with her. They're like, "Oh, you're Lauren's dad. Oh, we love Lauren. She was so fun to work with."
Oh, fantastic!
So, anyway,
you must be so proud.
So
of her.
we have Lauren, and then Noah. He's in the Coast Guard, so Noah's serving in the Coast Guard. You're gonna make me tear up though, talking about my children already.
Oh,
That's not cool. We can't be
good to
doing
be
that.
Proud. You can
We can't.
cry
We can't
talking
be.
about your
We
kids.
can't be doing that. But
And
yeah.
then
Yeah. So Noah's in the Coast Guard, and he's going to be an electrician's mate, and he's on a ship down in Virginia, or cutter, I should say. And then Nate just is graduating right now, and he wants to be a fireman, which I think is amazing too.
all right.
So I'm proud of all three of those. And then Emily, my youngest, 13, which again, I don't know what I'm supposed to, got to be careful probably, but talking about our
you
children.
can say
stuff,
that you're
but
proud of them.
Yeah, definitely proud of her. Again, she's always similar to Lauren, but they both have this unique way of wanting to help people.
Yes.
And I love that about them.
Yeah.
All my kids in some way, I love that about them. That's what I care probably the most. They want to help other people, and I think that's great. So proud of all of them. Yep. That's my family though.
And we met, like, I don't know how many years ago, 4 years ago, and at church.
We met 8 years ago.
8 years ago.
Yeah, that's how much.
Yes.
Yeah, we met 8 years ago this May.
Okay.
This month.
You were still working with Tesla. That's
I was,
right,
yep.
that's
I
right.
was still working with Tesla.
Yeah.
And because I've been retired for 3 years.
You've been retired for 3 years. That's
and you'd
right.
always been calling me the Tesla guy for.
Yes, that's true. Always making a big deal of how you were E-.
Before we move on, though, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are?
Okay. Terry Lewis, married to my wife, Kelly. This is our 40th anniversary this year.
Congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank
40
you.
years
Yes,
of marriage.
Yes.
I need to learn how to get to 40. I'm at 20-something now, but.
Well, I think we're going to learn this over the episodes is you weren't around a lot being in the military.
Yeah.
And now you are. And your wife, when she looks at you, she just adores you.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Or she's like, why don't you go and not be around
Well,
as much? No, I'm just joking.
as sweet as she is, it's helpful to
she
have a
is.
Lewis convict. No. And we have 4 children as well, and they're all married and off the payroll of ours, and we have 6 grandkids and 1 more on the way, and they all live in Ohio, so it's great to all get together. This summer we're all getting together and spending 5 days at Put in Bay. So we all like each other, and that's a blessing. Yeah, with that. I got a degree at Ohio State in music education, was a band director in Columbus, Ohio for 7 years. And
7 years you were a band director. I didn't know that.
I was, yeah.
Okay.
In a middle school in inner city Columbus, in Franklinton area.
Did you teach people the recorder?
I did in the 4th grade. I did 4th grade recorder.
He's responsible for the painful, all the parents that went
no,
through
it's a
all of the pain.
Beautiful instrument.
I have a friend. His name's Brett. He lives in Germany. He is the most amazing. I've told him before, him and his daughter, I've said, please take a modern song and make a video of it, of you playing the recorder. He is crazy, insane good playing the recorder.
Yeah.
Yeah, great guy.
Wow.
Amazing. But anyways, I didn't mean to derail. But yeah, the
No,
recorder.
that's fine. This is more about you than it is
No,
about me.
keep going with the band.
Okay.
I didn't know that was for 7 years, and I didn't know
and
that.
at the same time, I was the music guy at church.
Okay.
And so after 7 years, the church said, hey, listen, we'd love to have you here full time. We'll pay you the same amount of money if you want to make the switch.
Yeah.
So I kind of went from 2 full-time jobs anyway to 1 full-time job with the church. Did that 10 years at a church in Worthington as a music guy. And then me and 18 other families planted a new church here in Lewis Center called Grace Point. And I was its lead pastor for 25 years.
There you go.
Just retired last September. Now I've got time to sit around in a
now we're 2 old
in a
retired
studio
guys.
and
or young retired guys.
That's right. And you and I have gotten to know each other because we have the same love of pickleball.
Yeah, we do love pickleball.
And you played good yesterday. Oh my goodness!
No, I didn't play good. You guys just probably didn't play as well as you could.
No, you played good. And you're using your right hand again.
Well, I played that game mostly with my left.
Oh, so you're
I did.
you're not as good as you can be.
Yeah, I didn't play it with my right, and I'm not all that great, but
Yeah, he is. Invite him to your next tournament.
Yeah, do not invite me to your next tournament. You know I'm pretty mediocre. But we do like playing pickleball. We do enjoy it. That's really, it was a year ago this month, our last April, that he introduced me actually. I never played before you introduced it to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the first time I ever played it was with you last April, and then, so now it's been a year, and now we play at least once or twice or 3 times a week.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's fun, So I mean, it's a great way to get together with people, meet new people, and spend time together and create new stories, because that's what 2025 and 2026 is.
Yeah.
Is if you're is going to be is just pickleball pretty much, and that. I don't even know if it's worth. I'm sure we have some good stories in there, but we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. Yeah. Okay. Can we zoom into 1992?
So 1992, absolutely. So
what?
Yep. I Want to Be. It's interesting because that was on our front was I Want to Be, and I think it was.
Oh.
So this yearbook was, I never bought this yearbook. This yearbook was gifted to me like a year after, like my freshman or sophomore year. The girl that I had dated in high school,
okay, her
mom somehow got I'm pretty sure this is how the story goes. She got a free one from the school. And this was like the draft. Like right here it says, like if you look at here it says gloss. So like they're supposed to put gloss on this, and I don't know if the other ones do have gloss on it. Oh, this is the
markup copy.
But it says gloss on it, yeah. And then like the front of this one says, Hillsdale Yearbook staff. Or they stole it and then they just gave it to me. But anyways, yeah, this was given to me, and
what was your mascot?
A falcon. We were
it looks like a turtle.
We're the Hillsdale. What? Well, no.
It's like
that's a
show
falcon.
The camera. Doesn't that look like a ninja turtle?
They can't see that. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
It's a ninja turtle.
No, that's a falcon. That's his beak there, and yeah. Chris Spriggs was the kid, I guess, that drew that. So yeah, there's a falcon there, and I want to be a falcon. So, but yeah, like what do we want to be in life? But yeah, this is 1992. That's the year I graduated from high school.
Well, what else was going on in the world in 1992?
1992.
You were a junior? You were a senior?
No, that's my senior year. That's when I that's when I graduated.
Right.
So you think about it, you graduate in 92. That's going to be my end of my senior year and the beginning of my freshman year of college, right?
Okay.
That's that window for 1992. So
do you remember movies, TV shows, music?
Yeah, I think the big music, or at least the song I remember the most for some reason over that summer, was Guns N' Roses' November Rain.
Can you sing a little bit?
That. No.
Come on.
No, I cannot.
You sing it at O'Neill's.
I know. Well, I never have O'Nelly's. O'Nelly's. You can't pronounce it, but yeah, I do try to play open mic night on Monday nights at O'Nelly's. So shout out.
There's a nice shout out.
Yeah, shout out for them. Nobody want. Well, they're probably going to be like, no, dude, why did you
don't come out on Mondays?
You now. Yeah, it's like the negative effect of O'Nelly. But yeah, so O'Nelly's I play a little bit, but I'm not that great. But
so that was
I don't play
song,
any
Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, Guns N' Roses, November Rain. Loved the song.
Is it a power ballad or is it a rock and roll song?
It's I guess you'd call it a power ballad.
Yeah.
And it's like 8 minutes long or something crazy. I wish I had notes up. I should have pulled my notes up, but we got going.
Yeah.
And that's my own fault. But yeah, so Guns N' Roses.
All right.
That song, I just remember, getting ready to go out cruising like in the summer. It's mostly because it's 1992, so that's like the weather's getting like kind of just like now, right? And I remember moving in with Rich, but like sitting in the shower and having that still play on the radio. I don't really play music while I'm in the bathroom, but back then I did. And I can remember hearing it on the radio because I think they had a radio in the window.
Okay.
A little, and it would be tuned on, and that song would come on. I don't know why a lot. And I can have the vivid. You know how sometimes you can take yourself to a spot and you can picture where you were. I can remember November Rain playing there. And
do you remember movies?
Right off the top of my head, which we were going to go through that. What were the popular movies? I should have.
Well, I remember the popular movies were, and a famous one for your context.
Yeah.
Was A Few Good Men.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yep, A Few Good Men.
You can't handle the truth.
My brother, Ryan, quotes that movie from like beginning to end.
Really?
All the time. And I mean, love you, Ryan, but like when he starts, we just can't get him to stop, and we're just like.
It's a good movie.
It is a great movie, but he just keeps going and going, and then he incorporates, like as you're talking to him, he just somehow merges your conversation into the movie quote. But
Yeah,
it is a great movie.
Batman Returns came out that year.
Yeah, Batman series, yeah.
That was
Batman Returns. I don't remember.
Batman.
Was it? It wasn't. Oh goodness. Let's see. It wasn't Val Kilmer, was it? So Val Kilmer. Michael Keaton. She had Michael Keaton.
That's what it was.
He's in Batman Returns. Is the guy?
So
the original Batman in '88 was Michael Keaton, and then I didn't. I need to go through and look at that see if it was still Michael Keaton, because then it goes to Val Kilmer, I think, or I don't know the order. There's somebody out there that's like they're like just cringing that we're messing this up, but because you also have George Clooney.
Yeah, not my favorite.
He does that, and I liked all of them. I'm just a Batman fan. I love Batman. Actually, my nickname at one duty station was Batman. But my best friend, Rich. So I have two. I'll say about my best friend. I will admit this. I say best friend a lot.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of really good best friends in my life. Fortunately, that's what's. I mean, without them, I'd be. I don't know where I'd be. But like Ben and Rich, when I was at this point in my life, and from like sixth, seventh grade period to this point in my life, Ben and Rich, those two. But Rich, we used to always call Batman. Rich wanted to be Batman. I mean, he would come in with karate and everything else. But yeah, Batman that's a great movie. I love all. That was
Batman
a good
movie. Also, '92 was, I think, one of the best Disney animated movies because of the music, which was Aladdin.
Yeah.
Aladdin. I thought that was
a
good.
great.
Robin Williams.
Yep. Oh, I loved Robin Williams too. He's by far. If I could, man, that just hurts me every time I see about him. I'm like I miss Robin Williams.
Now I don't remember what fashion was in '92, but do you remember?
I'm trying to pull it up. You're right, Aladdin. Oh, My Cousin Vinny.
My Cousin Vinny.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That was a great movie. I do like My Cousin Vinny, but because I liked.
Because you're Lewis and you're a convict? No.
No, it was.
It's a mobster movie, right?
Yeah. Why am I Torme? Melissa Torme, right?
Melissa Torme.
Is it Melissa or is it?
And
why am I messing that up? Is it
Marissa?
Clarissa. Melissa. That's all. Yeah, that's all. That's how much we.
Yes.
I'm sorry. But I did love. Yeah, she was just just
Pesci,
one of those like Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci.
Yeah, Joe Pesci. I get called that every once in a while, Joe Pesci, because the way I wear my hat, and my family when the winter starts getting cold and I put my beanie hat on, they'll call it Joe Pesci season. They're like, it's Joe Pesci season as I wear look like I'm from Home Alone.
I bet if our audience rated
Marissa Torme
those four movies,
Aladdin,
A Few Good Men.
My Cousin Vinny,
and
Lethal Weapon 3,
and Batman Returns.
Yeah,
they'd put My Cousin Vinny way at the bottom.
You think so?
Oh, it's the worst. It's not a good movie. It's a terrible movie.
Oh, it's a great movie.
No, there's no. What are you? Okay,
it's a great movie.
All right, you don't remember what you were wearing when you went to see the movie?
No, well, I don't. But if you go back, so if we go into my yearbook, and I'll show up some of the pictures. But
all right,
the big fashion, which. So just a little background. The summer before that, right? So the summer of '91.
Yeah.
I lived in California.
All right.
With my mom during that period, and so.
Well, a different fashion altogether. In
California. Yeah. So like the big thing there was IOU, and it was called IOU, right? And that was like they look like these sweatshirts. It was almost like college, university shirts in a way, but it was IOU, and I think that stood for some type of like fictitious. I should look this up, but fictitious university or whatever.
Okay.
Because it had a little symbol in the middle. It was IOU. So I loved that IOU sweatshirt and things I had. And then, I think I had turtleneck underneath it. And then Levi's 501 jeans.
Levi's, okay.
And you rolled them,
okay.
So you folded them over and then rolled them twice. So, and I almost came back a couple years ago, but I don't think it ever fully did. It was interesting. Yeah. Instead of having skinny jeans, it was kind of like a way to make skinny jeans is you folded it over. You took your pant, you folded it over, and then you rolled it twice, and you cuffed it. I think it was called, you cuffed it, really.
Was this the season of painter's pants?
Painter's pants.
You had the white pants, and it had kind of like a carpenter's pants, but.
I think those were either earlier. I think those were earlier. Those were earlier because those were called. I think those jams. Like they look like you're wearing pajama bottoms. That was like '88 and '89. I think kind of like But 92 was you probably did that in 90s, obviously,
Yeah.
91 too. But I remember 92, I definitely rolled my jeans.
Yeah.
And I wore a turtleneck, and I had, all that, and
Yeah.
had my hair, my hair looked like, my friends said I looked like Zach from Saved by the Bell.
Oh.
Because I had this big mop haircut, and I had it cut, all shaped like a bowl on top and folded it
All
over,
right.
feathered over.
And
So,
what ball cap were you wearing? Or did you not?
Probably. I don't think of
Ohio
that.
State or
No, my hat that I wore, I don't know if it was that year, but definitely my freshman year of college. Well, actually, I don't know if that year when I'd wear that, I had a biker hat that I wore, like a bicycle hat. You know how they had the bicycle with the had no bill in the front and back?
Yeah.
They like
little
folded
tiny
over, a
thing,
little weird.
Little bill, tiny
That
bill.
might have been my sophomore year, but I wore a Cleveland Cavaliers hat.
Okay.
And I had that hat all through college. But I remember my freshman year of college, I would wear that all the time. So I'm sure
Yeah.
that carried me through I don't remember where I got it, but I wore that a lot in 1992.
Yeah.
It's not in any of my photos or anything, but
Well, in case people are judging me for my Cleveland Indians hat,
oh yeah, the Indians.
I mean, it's a little early, 92, but 90s was when
Oh,
the Indians,
amazing.
I mean, they had Jacobs Field was built, and
Yep.
they had, it was Albert Bell and
Oh,
Kenny
yeah.
Lofton and Omar Vizquel and Jim Tomey,
Yep.
and he pointed to it, and so I do have a Guardians hat, but since it was the 90s, I thought I'd pull out
Yeah,
the
you pulled out
Indians
the
hat.
classic. We should. That's what I need to do is for this is like based on the year, find some nostalgia
Oh.
and set it up here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
That's what
put
podcasts
some-
do. Is we
Yeah,
gotta
put some. We have something like
collection.
a collection of
Get
things
yourself a Woody bobblehead.
from 1992. But that is the 90s because my brothers actually just texted me yesterday where Mookie, who was it? He got the MVP, but this is 95.
Yeah.
Albert Bell had way better numbers than
Mhm.
I can just pull it up on my phone, I think. But anyways, he didn't get the MVP award for that year. And again,
Oh.
that's 1995, and we can revisit that.
Was it
when we
Ken
get to
Griffey or
No, it was oh goodness. What was his name? I'm going to get as soon as I get
who do you
it.
play for?
I want to say Atlanta.
Well, they won the World Series
Yeah, so that's
in
probably
'95.
Mo Vaughn. So it wasn't. Yeah, Mo
Yeah.
Vaughn played for Boston. Yeah, it was Boston.
Oh, okay, Boston.
So Mo Vaughn got the 1995 AL MVP,
yeah,
and Albert Bell did not. And the statistics, I mean, in every category, better batting average, more home runs, more RBI. Well, they tied on RBIs, 126, more doubles, slugging. I mean, everything. I mean, it
Yeah.
made no sense. But Albert Bell was not liked by the media, which is
Yeah.
sad. That's stuff that really bothers me sometimes.
and all those things of culture. Of course, '92. After 14 years of Republicans, Bill Clinton got into the White House.
He did. I remember that. Because I was now in college my freshman year, and I
Yeah.
didn't really follow politics.
No.
I didn't follow politics for a long time. But some of my classmates, they would talk. They were all amped up about it. I just remember the saxophone,
Yeah.
him playing the sax. I think that was in that same time period.
McDonald's and.
Yeah, and all that. So I can kind of remember all that.
Do you remember since the time you spent a little bit in California, Rodney King that year, '92, was pulled out of his truck and beaten by cops, and then the cops got
Yeah.
acquitted.
Yeah,
and then it
yeah,
was
that
race
was-
riots, huge
yeah.
race riots.
Yeah, that was terrible. Yeah, that whole situation was
Yeah,
tough.
I know. And what kind of car were you driving, or your friends were
Yeah,
driving?
1992. So my car was a 1982 Dodge Omni, but it was the 024. So you have the Dodge Omni that looks like a little Volkswagen Rabbit, almost a little
Okay.
But then there's the 024 version, right? Now we're talking.
Oh,
Yeah, that was it was a coupe, two-door coupe. So it kind of, the Dodge Omnis then, they looked like the Ford Mustangs of that time. I don't know if you remember the two-door, like the 82 Mustangs. They had shrunk them down,
you're
made
a
them
motorhead more
a
than-
hatchback.
Okay.
So it didn't look exactly like it, right?
Yeah.
Because the Ford Mustang was really cool to us. But I had the Dodge Omni 024 is what I drove, and I bought that from my brother for $1,200. I bought that car before I turned 16.
Yeah.
So
Really? Okay.
I washed dishes at Perkins Restaurant. I got a job when I was 15. I made enough money, and I bought it for $1,200.
Wow.
And
So not a hand-me-down from other brothers.
oh no. And I paid for my own insurance and everything. So at that point, because I was fully on my own, I mean, I always paid for my own insurance. I paid for I'm pretty sure it was most of that time. Maybe when I very first got my car, but the arrangement with my dad and my stepmom was that I'd pay my insurance, and then of course I moved out, so I definitely paid my own car insurance.
You got into this a little bit before, but tell me more about these years that you lived with your dad, got kicked out, moved in with other people.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah. I do want to say, though, before we move on to that, because the other car...
Oh, the other car.
Was not my car, was Ben's car.
Okay.
My other best friend. And he had his family had a 1965, actually they would say a 64 and a half Mustang.
Ooh.
And we thought that thing was the car of all cars.
Oh.
I still to this day see a Mustang, and I looked at Mustangs yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, I was like, I really want this. I want a 65 Mustang convertible. Right? I was like,
you do.
I just.
You drive a Tesla and don't pay for gas, and you want a gas car with gas at $6 a gallon.
Yeah, just so I can just cruise with the top down. I mean, think how many songs have that in it, right? Cruise.
Well, I suppose, but you would think it's way too loud now.
No. I mean, it's just an experience, right?
Oh.
I mean, I will always agree with people when they talk about electric cars that there is an experience with driving, some of these older cars, and that, would you want to drive a Mustang back and forth to work every day? No. Right. Especially, that would be expensive. It would put a lot of wear and tear on it. It would use a lot of gas.
Yes.
There's just a lot of reasons why, being stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
But like a Tesla, I mean, you just hop in and it goes on its own. But I did love the 65 Mustang. We used to cruise up and down Ashland.
Tell me about cruising.
Yeah. So in 1992, we'd been doing it for a couple years, because I don't know if kids still do it, but that was the thing to do when I was in high school.
Is that right?
Yeah, we would meet on Friday or Saturday night.
Yeah.
And whoever's car might have been my 02-4.
Okay.
It could have been Rich's Impala.
Okay.
Or if Ben, because Ben had Ben never owned a car. His parents had it. He drove what his parents allowed him to drive. So it'd be like the Monte Carlo, or the best one would when we could get the 65 Mustang. Because now we would start up, there's this road, it's Claremont. So you drive up Claremont, and you go to McDonald's. You drive through the McDonald's. You just drive all the way around the building. Sorry, my arm doesn't work right sometimes.
You don't stop for...
Nope, you're not buying anything.
You're not.
You're just driving through. Sometimes you would stop in the parking lot, and then if you did, that could be trouble. The manager might come out, or there'd be other things that would go on there.
And you weren't the only one cruising. There were other people cruising.
Everybody, it seemed like.
And you gave them the nod?
Oh, yeah. Gave the nod, gave the wave, had the music, had the window down, had the music turned up.
Yeah.
Listen to November Rain, or, maybe even Boys the Men, Belle Biv DeVoe.
Were you stuck in the back seat, or did you always call for shotgun?
I don't remember riding in the back seat ever. I was either in the front seat driving, because it would be my car, or if I was in the passenger seat somehow. I don't know how that. I feel bad now. You're making me feel bad, but I don't remember.
If you ever cruised with Jeremy, you can tell us why he always got shotgun.
Yeah, but they wanted the handsome man to be sitting in the front. You know what I mean? You need that to go with the cars. No, that's just
okay.
Yeah, so we would drive through Claremont, or drive through the McDonald's and then down Claremont. Now you could do the short version, which is you hit the Taco Bell. That's a pretty good distance down Claremont, and hit the Taco Bell and drive through there, and then start your way back up. Or you could drive through the Wendy's, which was across the street from there. Or if you want to do the longer route, you go all the way down to the light and turn onto, I think it's Main Street. I don't even know the Main Street in Ashland, but you take a right there.
So this is Ashland. This
Ashland,
is Worcester.
Ohio. No, this is Ashland.
This
I never
is
cruised.
Jeromesville.
I never really cruised in.
This is
in
Nashville.
Worcester. Yeah,
it wasn't Nashville.
No, it wasn't. It was Ashland, Ohio. And I will tell you, if you get a chance, go to Ashland. Actually, I just recommended it because Tom and his wife are going to take the Jeep out tomorrow.
Yeah.
I said, well, take the back roads up, go through Lownville, go by Mount Vernon, take 3 to Route 60 or whatever. Take all those back roads and drive, and with the top down, and hit Lownville, hit Hayesville, go through there, stop at the Village Market, a nice little town owned by a buddy of mine, and then go into Ashland. And Ashland is a neat town. You need to go downtown Ashland.
Never been to Ashland.
Yeah, well, it's the headquarters of the Friendliest People. You didn't know that?
What do you mean?
What do you mean what I mean? You should
Friendly's
know that.
Ice Cream?
No, the Friendliest People. Headquarters of the Friendliest People.
I have no idea what you're saying.
Yeah, the headquarters, that means that's like the main place for the Friendliest People. there's a sign when you go, if you go up 71, right?
Yeah.
You'll see like before you get to Ashland, right there at 250, where you know Grandpa's Cheese Barn.
Yes.
Yeah. So before you get to there,
Those are very friendly people.
Exactly. Yeah, it's Ashland, and then you'll see a sign that says headquarters of the friendliest people.
Really?
Yep, Ashland. That's what it's.
Have you ever tested it?
I'm from Ashland. Well, I'm from Worcester, and
I should go over.
But
there.
I lived. Most of my time as a from like 7th grade to my senior year, before I moved away, in the college military, was in Ashland. Yeah.
All right.
And it is, and I will tell you again, shout out to Ashland. Not only that, but the mayor, Matt Miller. I went to high school with him. He was a couple years behind me. Like amazing kid in high school. He is the mayor of Ashland, and he is phenomenal. I've never seen. I mean, it is hard. You probably know this. Just being in a dealing with a lot of different people and ideas and stuff. And me having run very large organizations, he really knows how to like work things to get things done. Like he really cares about that city, the people. And people don't always see that. Sometimes they'll fight and argue and they post stuff, but he's done a phenomenal job.
All right.
And his wife is Melanie Miller, who is she's a state representative, I believe, in the state in Ohio State House.
Well, this episode is sponsored by the city of Ashland.
Yeah, the city of Ashland. Went right into it, but cruising in Ashland up and down. So it's a funny story though. So Ben and I were cruising in my car, the 024. We drive down, and I don't know which parking lot we were in.
Yeah.
But we meet these young girls, and and they want to hop in the car with us. So we're like, of course, I mean, that's the whole reason you're cruising, because you're trying to, pick up girls or whatever.
Stayed in the front seat still?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I was driving.
Okay.
And I say it was me. I got to clarify. It was probably not me trying to be. I was always a good wingman for Ben Rosser. Ben. Ben was a great man. And
he was even better looking.
Well, Ben did get best dressed. I mean, yeah. I mean,
all right.
He's a handsome man.
Okay,
he's tall. Good. And he still has hair. He's a
Shout out to Ben.
Yeah. Good, amazing man. He was an amazing person back then too. But so we met a girl, and she gets in the car and we're driving around. So we drive down. We're going. We go through the McDonald's, through the Taco Bell. We're just talking to her. I don't remember where she was from. We didn't spend much time with her, but she, her and her friend wanted to meet us and hang out with the cool guys, I guess, maybe.
Yes.
I don't know how cool we were, but we thought we were.
And
but
they weren't out driving that night. So
no, they probably weren't even. They probably weren't old enough. Maybe they were 15, and here we are,
all right.
17 or 18. And anyways, we go down and we pull into the one parking lot, and as we pull into the parking lot, I realize I pulled in the wrong way. So I pulled in through the exit.
Okay.
And there's a cop sitting right there. And
right.
I'm like, oh my goodness, that cop's going to pull me over because I just pulled in the wrong way. And so I'm like, basically, hey girls, you guys got to get out. I don't know why, but it just made me super nervous. I was like, I didn't want to mess with the law.
My.
And I'm like, I'm in trouble. They're going to pull me over. I wasn't living at home. I was living with my aunt at the time. And I'm like, great. So they get out. We pull out of the parking lot. And as soon as we pull out, a cop car comes flying up and blocks, with his lights on, blocks me from the front. Then a car comes from the other side, blocks us there. And then the car that was there comes around, pulls in behind us. Anyways, there's about 3 to 4 cop cars all surround us. And and they've got their lights on. They got this.
My.
And they come up to the car. And
what happened?
They're like, I need to see your license. I'm like, I'm in so much trouble. I have no idea. I thought, like, man, I just pulled into the wrong way. I didn't know.
Yeah, right.
Like, it was going to trigger all this. And so I give him my ID, and the guy looks at it. And then all of a sudden he does the call on the radio. And then he's like, oh, go ahead. You guys are fine.
Well,
and I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, what happened? He goes, oh, we're looking for somebody, and your car
matched the
description of who it was. And then so I just take off driving, right? Like I mean,
you've got to be unsettled at all.
Oh,
this.
completely unsettled, completely like, oh my goodness, I've got my hands now,
10 and 2 now.
10 and 2, and I remember I just drove, like I just kept driving straight, and I drove all the way out of town, and as we're going out of town, a car comes flying by us the other direction, looked just like my car.
Oh my!
No headlights on. complete no headlights, looked just like my car, and zips right by
Did
us.
they ever get them?
I have no idea. But I was like, that had to have been what they're looking for.
Yes.
And I just kept on going. I was like,
there weren't any cell phones to call 911.
yeah, there was nothing. Yeah, no, yeah, it would have been, I don't even know how I would have.
All right.
So
Take me back again to these. You lived in a couple of different places during those years.
Yep. Yeah.
You were with your dad, and you said earlier you got kicked out from Dad?
Yeah, so, it would kind of basically is how it would go. I would say I moved out. My wife always says, no, you got kicked out. Like people, but, it's kind of there are times when I was probably kicked out or I just took off and left. You know?
Okay.
Again, nothing against my dad. I don't want to disparage my parents or anything, but, it's just one of those things, the way it works out. There's obviously things that we didn't see eye to eye on. And we would argue and fight about things. We were like oil and water in some ways. So at that point, I had moved out in my junior year. So
where'd you go?
But that's 1990. That's an earlier time. But,
okay.
But in 1992, I had been living with my aunt and moved back home at the end of my senior year of high school.
Right. I
was living with my aunt who was in a trailer. So my aunt Minnie, as I referred to her, her name was Pearl, but I referred to her as Minnie, from Minnie Pearl.
Minnie Pearl.
Yeah, and nobody else, I guess, called her that really hardly, but my mom always called her that. So that's what I always called her, Aunt Minnie. And so I had lived with her, and I had moved in there my junior year from a skirmish with my parents, my mom, my dad, and my stepmom.
Yeah.
And then, but we had moved back in. I'd moved back in the end of my senior year because, things were going really well at this point. I had applied. My guidance counselor, Mr. White, had basically kept pushing paperwork in front of me, saying, "Hey, fill this out, fill this out, fill this out," and I would fill it out. And then he's like, "Hey, you got to take the ACT," and he filled out, fill this out, and he had me sign up for that. And then Mr. White paid the $25. I think that's what it cost.
Man,
I remember I can still in my mind see the check that was written out by Mr. White for $25 for me to go take the ACT, or otherwise I wouldn't have. And it was interesting because he always would he had the paperwork and he'd have me fill it out, and then I would fill it out, and then he would submit it for me to include all that. And
we
so,
to go guidance counselors.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a huge part of this story is going to be these people that came into my life, that God put in my life, along these way, that just changed my life, my trajectory, right? The teachers, the like you said, the guidance counselors. And I mean, he did that. And so, in 1992, I was living at home, but I'm trying to remember where I was. I was still living at my Aunt Minnie's when I got these letters in the mail. And one of them was from the Army.
Okay.
And it said, "Congratulations, you received an Army ROTC scholarship." And I was like, okay.
Wow.
It's also interesting was the fact that I had no clue what college was about, right?
Right.
Just people would talk about it like it's what you're supposed to do. And hey, I think you should go to college. But I didn't fully understand what all that. Nobody in my family had gone to college.
Really?
Not that I know of. And my mom definitely, right? She was a bartender in and out and wanted by law, for skipping bail in Ohio.
Yeah.
But never ever knew how to do it. But here I am now, and I received the scholarship. And then I remember sitting in my biology class, Mr. Hammond's class, that same year. It's around that same period. I received this other letter. I was receiving a bunch of letters like saying, "Hey, if you come to our school with your ROTC scholarship, we'll give you this." And I remember the one, I opened it up, and I don't know why. I think what it was is my mail was getting mailed to my brothers, to my parents' house.
Yeah.
And then when I would meet them at school, they would give me my mail. Does that make sense? Because I'm living with my aunt.
You're living with your aunt, but you would see your brothers at school.
At school, yeah, exactly.
And they would give you your mail.
And they would give me my mail. Right?
That is amazing.
Yeah. So I'm sitting in biology class flipping through my mail, right? And I opened the one, and it was from the Illinois Institute of Technology, and I opened it up, and I'm reading it, and it just says, if you come to our school, because I had the Army gave me a 3-year scholarship, right? So, and it comes with that, and you get like a monthly stipend of $100, and you get and your books paid for. But I still would have to cover my freshman year to room and board and all this. And to me, like, I don't have any money. How am I going to pay
Right,
for all
right.
that? And in Illinois Tech at the time, I mean, the tuition was like $18,000. Room and board's like $4,000 or $5,000, right? So that would be like $20-some thousand a year to really
Yeah.
go there. So my tuition, my scholarship would help, but how's it on my freshman year?
Right.
And Akron had offered me a little bit of stuff. Dayton had offered me a little bit, but it was still going to cost me money. And I was like, I don't even know how. Like, I just don't even know how that's going to work, right?
Right.
People, they talk about grants and they talk about loans, but it just didn't make sense to me. I
Right.
didn't understand any of that. But this letter clearly said that if I went there, they would pay for any difference. They would pay for my freshman year of college. They'd pay for any difference that the Army didn't pay in my tuition because it was a private school. So the Army would only pay actually 80% of my tuition at a private school.
Yeah.
So they were going to pay the other 20%. And then that school said it would pay me, pay for my tuition or my
Room and board.
room and board. And it said it would give me $500 a semester spending money.
Wow.
So I just reading it, and I remember thinking, like, is this real? Like,
Yeah.
wait, I don't understand. Like, this is kind of crazy. So I remember I was like, hey, Mr. Hammond, I was like, I need to go see the guidance counselor. And it's interesting how my teachers sometimes just let me do whatever in a way.
Yeah.
But he's like, yeah, go ahead. So I just left and I went immediately because it was something I just had to, like, I just opened
You
it
had
up.
all these questions.
Yeah, I had all these questions. So I went down to Mr. White, and Mr. White's reading it. And I remember sitting there looking at him, and he's like, his first response was, this isn't real. Like, no, I don't think this is.
He was surprised.
Yeah, he was very surprised too. And
But he explained that this is what they're offering.
yeah, he's explained that this is what they're offering. And then so he's like, let's call him.
Okay.
Yeah, so right then and there he called, and he got a hold of Captain Harvey, who I would later get to meet when I was a freshman at Illinois Tech. I always want to say IIT, but they've rebranded just to Illinois Tech, so there's no confusion with ITT. But yeah, so he answers, and he starts, and I can remember hearing him on speakerphone, and he's talking to him. He's like, no, this is it, and would you like, like, yeah, we're gonna do this. And I just like, this is crazy to me. I mean,
Wow.
insane, right? I'm living in a trailer with my aunt. I'm just
Wow.
just and all of a sudden now I have this chance at, like, maybe is this real? Like, I'm gonna get this full ride scholarship to a.
Oh my goodness.
What I didn't know what the school was, right? I didn't understand it all.
Yeah.
But it's for the Midwest and stuff, it's a fairly prestigious engineering school.
Wow.
So I was like, yeah, let's go. So then somewhere in between receiving that, I remember I end up getting back home with my dad because my dad did take me out to Chicago to visit the school. And I remember going out there and thinking, oh, I'm not going here. Like, it's in the middle of the projects at the time.
Oh, okay.
It was on 31st, 35th. It was like dark. It was April. It was cold and windy and dirty. And I was like, man, but the reality of it is I had no other choice, really.
Right.
The truth was, which was a great choice, but just I couldn't understand it all. I just couldn't imagine now myself being in Chicago, like in the city, basically right across the street from Comiskey Park, or what is now, I don't even know what they call it these days. It's like probably mortgage loan.
Where the
field.
White Sox play.
Yeah, where the White Sox play.
Yeah, not Wrigley Field.
No, where the White Sox play. Yeah, Comiskey Park. I still call it Comiskey. I don't know what they call
Yeah.
it, but right there, literally right across the highway from there.
Yeah.
And so it was just this incredible blessing, which in here it gets mentioned. They mention it because I remember at my graduation they go through, or there's this event before graduation where they kind of go through all the awards and stuff. And one of them is they're going through like the people that got scholarships.
Okay.
I should have marked all this stuff in here, but they're going through it, and I remember they're listing off like each person, and so these are all the scholarships that people got. And in all honesty, again, you got the kid with the biggest mouth.
Yeah.
The class clown.
Yeah.
And most unpredictable, right? That was my awards. And I just did like multiple goofball skits on the stage.
Okay.
And they're going through and they're listing off the different scholarships. And they get to me. I'm the last one because they saved mine for the last. And they read off then, because the next one was Adam here at 44. They read mine off and they say, well, you received a $72,000, Jeremy Lewis, $72,000 scholarship, which in all honesty, I remember Mr. White tallying it up. And it kept coming to over $100,000.
Oh my!
And they kept saying, no, that can't be right. And so they just made it 72. But the reality is it was over $100,000 scholarship because you take, like 17,000 plus 4 to 5 for room and board plus the $1,000 spending money from Illinois Tech, the $1,000 or more from the Army, plus my books paid for. So I made money. I made probably $2,000 a year going to college.
Most unpredictable life.
So unpredictable, right?
Yeah.
Like who would have thought that would have happened?
So what happened during the summer before you
Yeah,
left?
so that summer, knowing that I was going off to college.
Yeah.
Right before I graduated, or was right after I graduated.
Okay.
My dad and I, my stepmom getting a big fight, and I moved back. And I kind of can see it coming, so I call Rich up, and I'm like, "Hey, Rich."
Who's Rich?
Rich is my good buddy.
Yeah.
He's the
okay.
guy that wanted to be Batman. Sorry,
Okay.
Rich, that's true. So he's a great man. He's a lawyer now, though. He was unbelievable best friend. I can remember in sixth grade, he came to me when I was in sixth grade. I was a new kid there. I get a little teary eyed thinking about it, but he came up to me and asked me just to spend the night, and so
wow,
like a kid I barely knew, but he wanted to invite me over. Something that his mom knew my mom, and that's how it triggered.
Yeah.
And anyways, we've been.
And by this time,
boozing
you
buddies.
had been moved from place to place to place.
Yeah, all over the place.
Yeah.
So, but my dad and I, that happened, and I was working a lot of hours and never was home. And I think there was this like, what is this kid doing all the time? He's not home. He's not doing the stuff he needs to do at home. But,
right.
But in my mind, I've got this plan like, I just need to work and make money. So when I go to college, I won't because I won't have a job. How am I? Because it's one thing to get the scholarships from spending money, but you still got to figure out how you're going to pay for everything.
Yes.
So I would go in at 7 a.m. and then I'd work till like 3, come home for an hour or something, and then go right back to Perkins.
Yeah.
And work from till 9 till close, right? So I would do double shifts there when I could.
Yeah.
And I was out having fun too, though. Then afterwards we would go out, and so it just wasn't working out. But I remember going to Rich and being like, "Hey, Rich, I think I might need a place to live." And he's like, "Well, let me check with Randy, who was his stepdad." And he came back like, I don't know, it wasn't very much longer, because Randy's like, "Well, let me check with his dad." But somewhere in there was a conversation. As soon as he said yes, I could. I thought it would. I said, "Well, it'll probably be a week or two." And that very next day, like I was moving out and moved.
You were moving in.
Yep, and I moved in with Rich, and I slept on his floor. So I just would sleep on his floor.
Wow.
And
you spent the whole summer.
Spent the whole summer
sleeping
there.
on the floor.
Yeah, almost. Almost. But
Yeah.
Rich, while I was there, he got in fight with his parents.
No.
Yeah, and then so he moved in with his dad. So here I am. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
So you lived at his mother and stepdad's house?
Yep. It is 3 brothers.
And he got kicked out.
And he got kicked out for a little bit. And then I was
so
like,
did you get to sleep in his bed?
That's right. I slept in his bed. I slept in his bed for like a week or however long. It seemed like
was
a
that
week.
glorious?
Oh, it was nice. Yeah, I had a bed to sleep in rather than the floor, and then Rich came back, which was fine. I mean, we were still talking, and then he moved back in, and then I went back to the floor. But that was okay. I mean, I appreciate that family helped me out so much. They I had a problem with my car at the time. The car that I would drive to college, they sold to me for $500.
Okay.
Which was a Cutlass Sierra, a little old beat up 82
okay.
Cutlass Sierra. The interior lights didn't work. Like the windshield wiper had flown off one time. So that's a story that, when we were, with all my buddies, but yeah, so I lived there and just slept on the floor and, but Brenda, his mom, was amazing to me. She and Randy, they just took care of me and the brothers. And it was nice because I think I tried, like when I was there, to make sure, I remember the boys there, I created, because it came a chore list. I was like, all right, this is what we're going to do. So I would write out like,
You're
right,
a guest in the house.
Yeah, I'm the guest in the house, but I'm assigning tasks
You're
to people,
assigning tasks.
to the younger kids and myself. I mean, I would, because it's like, we're living here. We need to take care of it and do things.
So this is where it comes from.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, like I spent a long weekend with you this winter, and you were just assigning tasks to everybody.
I don't remember that. But,
oh, you don't, huh?
But,
Terry, you got to do. You're on KP, and yeah.
And then like Rich, Rich is a great kid, but he would he'd want to stay out a little later, and I'd be like, Rich, no, we got to get home, So I was never one. It's weird because in school, even though I did get suspended 4 times while I was in school, I did, yeah. And but people would always think that I was crazy. Like I got accused of doing drugs before. I got accused of drinking, but I didn't. I didn't drink. Rich, that summer I didn't drink any alcohol.
Get suspended for what? Fighting?
Yeah, fighting usually. Yeah, I had a little bit of a temper.
Did you know?
Yeah, I always consider in my mind it was righteous, but I don't. It really can't be. I mean, you shouldn't be laying your hands on anybody.
Yeah.
But I think just going through, I was one to sometimes fight back. I wasn't gonna,
Yeah.
back
down.
Probably not the right thing to do always, but it did. And then they always say it's not the person that struck first. It's always it's like anything, right? You watch who gets the flag called on them.
Yeah.
The person that got hit second.
Yeah.
Or the guy that he got hit and then he retaliates, and that's what I always felt.
But if you got one suspension on your record, why not go for 4?
Yeah. Well, I remember telling the principal and the superintendent one time, because I end up with both of them sometimes, and I'd be like, that's fine. I'll just hit them first next time. I said, from now on, you just told me that I need to just hit them first, and I'm going to. I'm not even going to ask. I'm just going to hit them because I'm getting suspended for, fighting back, and the other person who did it they're not in trouble at all.
Yeah.
And, so I was like, all right, well, I'll just hit them from now on. But I never, maybe sometimes I did, but.
Man, suspension. Put it on the tab. My 4th one. All right. Anything else about the summer before you go to college? Because you don't know anything about college. You're going to get in your car and you're going to drive to Chicago. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, that was so I spent the summer just working and obviously cruising, and it was a fun summer. That summer, I think probably maybe a lot of people their summer after high school is pretty magical.
All right.
Like for some reason it just seems like it was a sunny day every day.
Yeah.
As I remember it, right? Getting dressed up, going out cruising, having fun,
Good life.
I had a girlfriend, so I was always pretty well behaved, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But doing stuff with her, but also with my friends, we'd go out. I spent a lot of time with Ben and Rich, but sometimes with a contention with my girlfriend in that time too, right? But it was just a magical time. But then so
you had a Cutlass now.
I had a Cutlass, the Cutlass Sierra at that point. And I had to pack it up. So I remember as I was getting ready to leave, I think it might even been that last week or so. So my girlfriend's, Julie was her name.
Okay. Not
Julie Enoch. We'll get to that later. That's a whole nother podcast. Sorry, I don't mean to throw that one out there. But Julie was my girlfriend in my junior and senior year of high school, and a lot through college and so forth. But so her family, they supported me. They were amazing support system too. They always were there for me. Like I said, it was her mom that got me this, and her parents actually threw when we had a graduation. I didn't have a graduation party. But I kind of did because they put my name on the cake.
Okay.
For Julie. So I was there, and at the time you don't always fully think about it, but later in life I've thought about it and appreciated the fact of that. And so I remember loading up, and so I was staying. I think I stayed that last. It may not have been the last week, but the last few days before I left, I did stay at Julie's their house.
Okay.
They had a room downstairs that they let me stay in, and we loaded everything. They helped me get everything ready to go. And it was like 4:00 in the morning that I had to be there. You're getting stuff. Everything comes in mail, right?
Yeah.
There's no internet. There's no,
Right.
And reality was, I think about it this time, probably other people, their parents are involved.
I was going to say,
your
parents, nobody took you to school for the first time.
Nope. Julie's parents, helped me get everything kind of loaded up the night before.
Yeah.
And then I woke up at 4:00 in the morning.
You drove to college your first year by yourself.
Yep. Just at 4:00. I remember leaving at 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I had an Atlas.
How long a drive is this?
It's like, what, 5-6 hours?
5-6 hours.
Because I took Route 30. I took Route 30 the whole way because I knew Route 30 runs right by Dromesville. And I knew Route 30 takes me almost right into Chicago.
Okay.
So I was like, I just stay on Route 30. So here I am, 18 years old, and I've been around. You'll learn about this. I lived in California, Las Vegas, so kind of, was used to just being on my own in a way. But that one I just was like, okay, and they didn't. They didn't set any plan for me. They didn't even probably know any. I still think to this day, how did I know the paperwork? I must have had something in the mail and it was like, be there at this place at this time.
Okay.
And do that. So, but I packed up and I drove, and I can remember it to this day. Like I was driving 50 mile an hour the whole way. I didn't want to speed.
Okay.
And I remember it's real early in the morning, it's so dark. It's just me having the radio on, driving down Route 30. And it goes through Valparaiso all these little towns and through Indiana, through Ohio and then into Indiana. And my interior lights didn't work. So every once in a while I had this little light that I had was mounted on there, and I'd have to flip it over and make sure I was still under the speed limit.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. And I remember stopping at this little diner and grabbing some breakfast. And then coming into Chicago. Now there was an hour time difference, which I didn't understand that either.
Oh,
so Chicago's an hour behind us. So I got there actually almost an hour early.
Okay.
And pulled in.
And you found the campus, okay?
Yep, found the campus. I can still remember coming in and seeing the skyline of Chicago as I'm coming up the Dan Ryan. I forget which interstate that is off the top of my head, but coming right up there into Chicago, and we're like, my college is literally right off that interstate. So it's almost like you take Route 30 that interstate, go north on the interstate, and it's so fortunate. It's so easy in a way. I mean, it's like 3 turns, right? But
but still, you arrive at campus. You're in the parking lot. You get out of the car.
Well, so what happened was I come in and you drive. There's a road that runs right in front of our dorms, and then it comes down and it's like a little traffic loop.
Okay.
And then goes out. Well, at that loop, there's what we call the Commons. It's like where the bookstore is, kind of like the student union, kind of sort of. But as I come around, I sit there and I look, and standing there is this guy, this young kid my age, and his dad. And I roll the window down, which my windows, I don't think actually rolled down. I remember maybe that one did. I remember one of them was broke.
All right.
I think it was the driver's side was broke, and I'm like, hey, excuse me, do you guys know where we're like? Are you guys here for ROTC? Like, I just started asking questions. Right? I just see 2 people. I'm just gonna ask them what's going on, and they're like, oh, you here for ROTC and all, or for college? Like, yeah. And they're like, oh, what are you? And I'm like, Army. You know, we start doing that dance back and forth. Oh, okay. And then I'm like, yeah. And they're like, yeah, I'm doing Army ROTC. And I'm like, you know where we're supposed to be? Like, no, not really. But I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to.
He's there by himself too?
No, he's with his dad.
With his dad.
Yeah, his dad is there. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, can I just. Well, anyways, that kid that I met right there is a guy named Matt Kelly.
Matt Kelly.
He's the very first person. And so he was just at my house last week.
Really?
Yep. So him and I
became
one of my best friends. Yep. Very best friend. I was his best man in his wedding.
Wow.
Known him since that day, that morning that I arrived. From that point on, he became one of my best friends in life.
Most unpredictable life.
Yeah. Who would think? Yeah. Who would think? Yeah. Exactly. Right.
You would have never predicted that.
Never predicted that person that you're just gonna randomly becomes one of your very best friends. A lifetime best friend, right?
Wow.
Like I said, he was just here a couple weeks ago, and came to pickleball. Did you meet him?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. You met him.
Texas guy.
Yeah, Texas guy. Yep. Amazing man. Again, just came into my life at that. Who helped guide me.
So you found your dorm room. You found all of that.
Yeah, I don't remember. I remember kind of going up there and finding my dorm room. My roommate Craig was his name. And his parents are there helping him move in. And I'm just like.
How do you
I just show up. Yeah, I just show up with like the basics. You know what I mean? I didn't have. Like I didn't even what I learned later, like as people do now, right? They go out shopping and they buy all this stuff,
right?
And they, I had this Rubbermaid container because Lori's dad worked at Rubbermaid. I think that's where I got it. This tote, and I had stuff in there that they helped me. Again, I owe a lot of credit to Julie's parents who they gave me stuff to get going, but. I had my bucket with my shower stuff in it and maybe flip-flops.
Yeah.
But I just still didn't understand. Like, it's
all new.
Yeah, you're just showing up and hoping.
You didn't have parents that had gone to college and said, here's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I had no clue. Yeah.
Wow.
So.
And how did you sign up for classes?
Yeah, so that, that was kind of funny because now, so I'm just following Brad around and we're, and I don't, he had a schedule somewhere where we're supposed to be at this place at that time. So I show up. And of course, once you get that first like on the train, I guess, right? When you first get in there, then you're like, okay, now you can just follow. They'll tell you where to go and what to do. But you're supposed to, you do that. And then you're supposed to register for classes. Right. And again, I have no clue what that means.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't understand like how any of this works.
Yes.
But I remember we're in the one big, back then it isn't online, none of that, right? So you have to go and stand in line.
Yes.
And, sign up for a class.
Yes.
Well, what classes am I supposed to take?
No.
And I don't remember if I met with a counselor or not. I don't remember that. Eventually I would, a guy that was amazing to me. But at that point, I don't remember it. I just remember, okay, I'm supposed to sign up. I didn't know what classes to take or anything. But I run into this guy named Wade.
Wade,
yep. And Wade
on class sign-up day.
Yeah, and he's an Army RTC guy, so he's in, so we're together in Army RTC. He looked like Dolph Lundgren. I mean, he's this tall, like he's got the flat top, right? He's blonde, blue-eyed, just a big like.
Who is this person you just said?
Dolph Lundgren. You know the boxer? Remember the bad guy in Rocky IV?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, the big tall blonde guy.
the Russian.
Yeah, the Russian. That's how this guy Wade looks. That's what Wade looks like.
Oh my!
Like I bet on his Facebook page or
Chiseled.
somewhere in there. Well, just that tall. Yeah, I mean Wade's not. Yeah, I don't think of Wade as being this. I mean he wasn't small. He was muscular, but But the point was blonde, flat top, blue eyes. Ready to go. But he's a super nice guy, super funny guy.
Yeah,
but but he was Army RTC also. So because he was Army RTC, I'm talking to him and I'm like, oh, what are you studying? He said aerospace engineering. Well, I'm doing aerospace engineering. So that was going to be my major was aerospace engineering.
It was.
Yeah. And so I'm like, and I picked, honestly, why did I end up aerospace engineering? Because when Mr. White was talking to people, he said that you're more likely to get a scholarship if you put down aerospace engineering. So I was like, all right, well.
So the guidance counselor said this is what you should sign up for.
And he thought because of he knew my personality, I guess. I had no idea what any of this stuff was. I had no clue. But it increased my chances of getting a scholarship. So it was like, all right. Like,
way to go, Mr. White.
Yeah,
way to go.
I'm going to be an aerospace engineer, right? That's exactly what I'm going to do. So and that's how that led me down the path to get this.
And you're a smart guy.
Well, I don't know about that, but like, I don't know if I wasn't even then, but
so Wade just so you just signed up for everything Wade signed
so at
up.
that point when he told me, I just literally followed Wade everywhere he went. So when he got everywhere, and I was just talking because we're talking, and he would sign up, and he would tell me, he's like, no, sign that right there. He would started kind of telling me what to do, and he would sign up there, and then we go to the next line. He'd sign up, and we go to the next line. So him and I ended up with our freshman year pretty much every class together because. Wow. Because I followed him from station to station to station. And
who else were your best buds that freshman year?
Well, yeah, so many friends, yeah. And I still have them to this day, yeah.
Really?
So, because they put all the ROTC cadets in the same building. Like we all had full ride scholarship tuition, right? So so they had these dorms that were, I guess, had been somewhat empty before.
Okay.
And now you have all these ROTC. They brought in 80 Army cadets. There had only been like 4 cadets there before, Army cadets. And now there was like 80 of us they brought in that year. And then there was like same with the Air Force, like a lot of Air Force. So there was probably like, I don't know. I don't want to Lewis it, but I want to say 2 to 250, maybe 3. I don't know. Over 200 cadets came in that.
So
that
these
year.
were your friends, other cadets.
Yeah, other cadets, and so they put us all together pretty much.
Yeah.
So the dorm became, we're all in. Now my floor had a mixture of Army, Air Force, and Navy and Marine Corps cadets, or not, midshipmen, and if they all call them something different. But yeah, so we're all there together, and then a couple civilians. But yeah, so like that freshman year, and they all became very close, and I'm close to them. Like I have a text thread now that we text. It's called Second South. So I end up on Second South, and we still text to this day.
Wow.
Now they're all retired. They're all retired, like colonels from the Air Force, and and some of them got out and pursued civilian careers, but they were in the military at one point. So it's kind of a very neat. And we have another couple guys that came later, Indian guys that are now doctors, of course, and they're on the thread too. But yeah, so my good friend Vinod Naga, Bill Bauer, Jason Naylor, obviously Matt Kelly, Bob Roland. I mean, and then John Atwell. I mean, there's so many people. I feel bad, like I'm going to go through the list.
So I've always wondered how this works. So you're an ROTC. So do you have inspection of your room? Do you drill?
No,
do you march?
Yeah, so we don't have inspections of our room. We're civilians, but they issued. And again, I had no clue how this is going to work. This is just like some people would complain about stuff, and I'm like, what do you complain about? Like I got a bed to sleep in.
Yeah.
Like I haven't slept in a bed in a long time.
Yeah.
But I'm sleeping in a bed right now.
And I got toiletries in a bucket. I can make it to the shower.
I get 3 meals. They gave me, I get to show up with this card, and they're going to feed me 3 meals a day.
Wow.
Like what is there to complain about?
Right.
You know what I mean? And I just go to
the most unpredictable life.
Just insane. Like it makes you appreciate though. All
yeah.
that. I mean, and it's on all seriousness. That was like, I hadn't slept in a bed in a long time. Just little snippets.
Yes.
And in my childhood, like you even go through it, like even younger, I didn't have a bed. But yeah, so I was super happy. But
Man, oh man.
Well, you would ask me a specific question.
Did you drill?
Oh yeah, the drilling. Yeah, so you had to learn how to do all the ROTC stuff. So yeah, they give us a uniform, and it's a class, so it counts as a college course.
Okay.
And so on Thursday mornings, we would show up just on Thursday mornings. So on Thursdays, we would wear all day on Thursday. We'd wear a uniform.
Okay.
But on Thursday mornings, like it starts off, they show you how to wear the uniform. Then they show you how to do all the basic drill, stand at attention, salute,
Okay.
All that stuff you were doing.
Colonel.
And then you would do like facing movements, what's called drill and ceremony.
Yeah.
And then, you just do that through all 4 years. But yeah, so like my freshman year, I'm a cadet private.
Yeah.
And I'm just learning how to polish my boots.
Did you do, is it called PT together? Did
Yeah.
you have to run 5 miles a day?
Yeah, you do PT Monday, Wednesday, Friday in Chicago, and cold. I mean, unbelievably cold. Wake up at, I think PT was at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
So you would go outside and sometimes it was inside, but on the walk to the gym.
Yeah.
I mean, brutal. I remember getting a headache from the wind, the cold wind hitting your forehead, but.
Wow.
Yeah, we would, run a couple miles, 3-4 miles, and then push up, sit up. So, yeah.
All right. So, let me ask you this. You really went from sleeping on the floor to being on a full ride scholarship.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And guidance counselor and all of that, people that got put in your life. So, what do you say to the person today, maybe watching this, and they're either literally or figuratively sleeping on the floor in life?
Yeah.
What do you tell them?
I think you keep moving forward.
Okay.
Keep moving forward, and in that, and I believe this out. Have faith.
Have faith.
Have faith. Keep moving forward and have faith. I think, and have in that also. Have a positive attitude. It's interesting because I've been asked this question before in any of these situations, and we'll go through quite a few of them.
Yeah.
From my childhood and being in combat and stuff. I very rarely, there's only probably a couple times in my life that I ever felt down or worried.
Yeah.
So I just always kept saying it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
There's a reason for all this. I really believe that too. Like there's a reason why I'm doing this, and I just need to keep moving forward with it and experience it.
Yeah.
I think that's it, and smile, laugh, joke.
Yeah.
That's probably why I was a clown or, biggest mouth or, most unpredictable is because in these situations, maybe sometimes, there have been times where people are like, before I met you, I thought you were so serious. And then they meet me and they're like, yeah, like we laugh so much.
Yeah.
But there are people that,
there was a lot in your life those years that probably weren't laughable. And so you found laughter somewhere. Yeah. As a pastor, I think of those years in your life. And I think, in the Bible, it says not everybody believes in God and all that, but it says in Psalm 121 that God is watching your going in and your going out. Like he was always watching you. Yeah. And I think he did have a plan for you. Well, so as we wrap up this episode, what can you tell me about the next one?
Yeah. So I haven't decided.
Okay.
Or I think we're going back. Okay. So from now we're at 92, and what we'll do is we're going to go backwards, I think, next. So we'll go backwards in time.
Okay.
I haven't picked out which year yet, but we'll go backwards in time. I'm feeling like 1982, 83-ish.
I'm feeling younger already.
Yeah, are you really?
Yeah.
And we need obviously want more input from Terry too. Hear about what's going on in your life.
No. This is the unpredictable life of Jeremy Lewis.
Well, but everybody's life is a little unpredictable, I'm sure. And you have some interesting stories.
Well, we're so glad that you tuned in and you've made it to the end of this, but it's great talking to you.
Yeah, it's been good, and hopefully, you've enjoyed it, and we'll be publishing this not only on YouTube, but we have a Facebook page, we have an Instagram page, we have a Twitter account.
Wow.
Yeah, you're like, I didn't know we had all this.
We tweet.
Yeah, we haven't tweeted anything yet.
Is that like...
I say Twitter. Oh, I'm sorry, an X account.
Is that
Elon's
like...
going to be upset with that.
Yeah, okay.
What, it's or InstaFace you're talking about? Or
InstaFace.
The face space.
Yeah, face space.
He likes saying it, yeah.
InstaSnap.
InstaSnap. Yeah, all those. But so we'll be putting it on there, and then it'll, I'm learning the process of how it gets broadcast out too. Is it on Spotify? I don't know how this will work in terms of Spotify, Apple, but we'll figure all that out. And hopefully, you tune in and want to just hear about a most unpredictable life. So thank you, and we'll see you next week.